Before we wander on into the episode, I just want to make sure that everyone goes out there and hits up the YouTube, check out the Spotify, check out Apple, wherever you're listening or watching to this podcast, is to go down, like it, subscribe, hit the bell if it's YouTube. Make sure you're getting those reminders. We do put these out every week. So make sure you do all that. It helps us out. And in the long run, we can make better things. So again, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
We can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility? Because you never know. Maybe there's good shit.
No, that's honestly, you're not wrong. Like I was just like, that's what I was low key pitching Jared too because I was joking like, oh, you could take over Matt's spot, and I was like, he's like, yeah, but he goes, I wouldn't want to talk about the native stuff as much as like Matt would, and I was like, I get that, actually, that makes sense, and he um I was like, but he's like, I'm open to the idea of a podcast, and I was like, yeah. I said it'd have to be under your stuff. So like what I would do is I would have to send you the file and then you just upload the file to like the websites and just like write a description and stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, well, that's something I could do maybe. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't have to be long. It could be, maybe we do 12, just one a month. I said we could just talk about Montana shit and like the shit we do. Like people would fucking get it. I said, have you ever seen that Midwest podcast? There's like these
No, I
guys,
haven't.
there's like these guys from the Midwest, and they're just stupid shit. And they're like, oh fuck, you hit a buck. Like they get a phone caller and like, yeah, I hit a buck. Oh, how big was the buck? Just like that kind of shit
That's
where
some
it's
like,
like,
yeah,
yeah, Midwest
that's
shit.
some, yeah, well, it's just some small town shit.
Yeah. There's that conversation, that talk where it's like it's good shit. That's like it. People are into. I said we could do that naturally, Jared. I said we kind of do that anyway. Where it's like you're like, let's bring your GoPro along with the
Yeah,
adventure and do that. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
if I probably talked about the radio up in Alaska fishing, the like
Oh,
one
I
of
think
the
you
like
have
four,
before. Yeah.
because it's like, oh, you hit a buck. That shit reminds me of like some guy calling in. They have like this hour where anyone can call in. You can see, honestly, I'm pretty sure you could literally say anything you fucking want.
It's
Like
the
most of
like,
the time, it's
yeah.
like happy birthday or happy anniversary because that's the only way you can talk across the bay. But every now and then you get someone who's like, yeah, I need someone come down and shoot some bears.
Yeah.
They're these aren't those ordinary garbage bears. No, these are refrigerator bears. They get in your refrigerator. So just come on down. And he like named his address and he's like, just come, shoot them, take them, go whatever.
That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes.
Oh,
It's fucking, that's what I'm
100%. I mean,
saying.
you're
That's
out in the
what
middle
it's
of bumfuck nowhere type
that,
shit.
but that's why podcasts are booming, in that sense. Why people like all like it's just that content. It's that customized content that we've always been looking for now with social media and stuff. It's accessible. It's readily
Mhm.
available. We're here, we're using it, we're diving into certain topics, certain subjects where we can find more and learn more about different things.
Yeah, that and like, it's no longer the it's no longer all about the celebrities getting there like doing the stuff. It's more relatable when it's regular people. Oh,
Yep.
I see so and so teaching everyone how to bake cookies. Like it's no longer, Martha Stewart showing everyone to bake cookies.
Well,
It's the single mom Sally that is now baking cookies. And you're like, oh, I relate more to Sally, the single mom, than I do Martha Stewart or whoever's famous in whatever baking cookie realm.
well, it's that access, right? Like when you think about the access of of media and stuff, like when you talk about radio, right? It started off with like the military, and then how it breaks down now, all and just like how it becomes more and more readily available. And like you're saying, like it's so much easier to broadcast to a larger network. Here's how to change a tire on your car
Mhm.
versus me buying a DVD, or me like watching a video, or going and attending a seminar or some crazy shit like we used to do. You know what I mean? But it's just the development and change of it all, and how things change, and it's life.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, no more seminars. You
Yeah,
don't have to
exactly.
go, what is it, the one you see all the time? Like they make fun of the it's always the single guys that buy the ticket to the seminar to have the guy like be like, this is what you need to do. Now it's just on your phone. That same guy's like still pointing at the face, going like, this is what you need to do. And now you no longer have to buy the seminar. Those guys that are used to do the seminars, they're probably missing out on money.
I mean, they are and they aren't, because that's that social media influencer. That's that step there, right? Of
I don't think
how
it's probably as good of money because those seminars they
agreed,
overcharge.
agreed. But that's also why those seminars and stuff, there was probably less people doing that. Where how many more
Mm.
influencers do you have these days? You know, like you'd have, like, yeah, sure, you may have seminars more regionally and in these areas, like kind of that trade show. That's what I kind of think about when you talk about that, right? Like you're
Yeah.
going to all those like trade show kind of booths and things, and you're on your little circuit, where like that circuit is now your phone, and it's that engagement of how much you want to engage, and how much you want to sell, and how much you want to do it yourself. And I think the good ones, yeah, they can make money doing it, but in reality, it's 90% of it, I think, is guys getting just like free products and shit like that, where it's like the brands, yeah, they're doing the best they can. They are marketing it, they are selling stuff by doing
Hmm.
stuff like that, but it isn't, yeah, you're not making an income on it.
No.
So that's a different
No, I
story.
think a
That's
lot of
different.
it is people just want free shit. And they're like, if I talk about this chapstick all the time, maybe, just maybe, I can get the chapstick for free.
I like free shit.
Everybody likes free shit. That's the one thing I learned about working marketing when we were at Oregon
Yeah.
State. How many people would go fucking crazy for a foam finger
Yeah, but like
that
the one
ended
thing,
up in the garbage?
no, see, the one thing I really am excited I got from the marketing was the cutout Brandon Cooks. Like it was my freshman year, and they handed it to me in the crowd, and I've had that thing ever since. And like Brandon Cooks is a good pro athlete.
Yeah, there you go. See, just always taking free shit.
Love it.
You're a
Love it.
hoarder, is what you are.
No, I've cleaned out a lot moving. Had a garage sale last week. Sold my couch tomorrow. Some guys picking up my couch and kitchen table.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, not hoarding no more. But
Nope.
that's
Shall
not
we?
this podcast.
No.
Clink.
Calling. Yeah. What's up? What's up? Welcome. If you haven't been listening already, it is Wednesday, or maybe you're listening on Tuesday, but
Or
it's
Thursday.
the Wandering Ways podcast. It's yours truly, Reverend Marcus, or just Mark or Marcus, whichever you prefer. Being called Marquise a lot
How do you
lately.
feel?
Marquise.
How do you feel? Jared calls you Marcus. Sometimes he goes,
Marcus.
yeah, he goes, yeah, yeah. How's Marcus?
Marquise. I mean, I've been getting a lot of Marquise. A lot of people have been calling me Marquise. Why? Don't know. It's the end thing for fall of 2023 is Marquise. But Marquise, Marcus, Marcus, whoever you want to call me, is with, as per usual, Mr. Ranger Zach. How you doing, dude?
Fan diddly tastic. Fan good time. Always a good time to be on the Wandering Ways podcast. Um, I'm doing good. Been busy, been moving back and forth. We were talking earlier, like YouTube videos, figured out how to freaking change all the light sockets in my house with YouTube videos. So did that.
YouTube's pretty helpful. Like you can a
Yeah.
lot of those day-to-day stuff where you used to be like, I got no clue what to how to do. Try a little YouTube first. I do it with my stuff with my bike all the time.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's a perfect avenue to begin with. That's what I mean, I did it with my Jeep, basically. Everything that's done to that Jeep was because of a YouTube video that I saw.
That sounds
120,000 miles running great.
there you go. YouTube's helped you out there. Um yeah, no, today we're continuing on with our ABCs of the national parks. We're in a new letter, which is exciting. Always exciting to move on down the
I
alphabet.
don't think we'll be here
Um,
long though. Looking
no,
at how this
we're here. This is a one-stop shop when it comes down to it. Actually, we'll end up skipping some letters after this one. I was looking at it today.
there's
I'm
no F,
excited for
yeah.
the next one, but equally as excited right now to do today. We're in the E's, and if you can guess, it's pretty easy. It's Everglades National Park. Staying in Florida. Last time we did dry tortugas, this time Everglades. So we're just kicking it on down in Florida right now. With good old Everglades National Park. This is probably, I don't know, would you say this is the more popular one over like in Florida?
I
It's
think
the
it's
one I
more,
think about the most.
yeah, and I think that's why, because it's that diversity essentially that you're getting of like this, it's unique to Florida kind of park where like the beach ones, the battlefield ones, the Biscayanis, the reefs and stuff, you don't necessarily think about, nor maybe when you're there, you don't realize you're doing those as much, or if they are more visited than the Everglades in that sense, you know. But
Mhm.
definitely, yeah, I think when you think of Florida, you think of national parks, you know, you think of the Everglades. I haven't, in reality, I thought it was just the Everglades. I didn't realize how many national parks there actually are in Florida. There's quite a bit. So that's kind of one thing this ABC journey has done for me, is opened up my eyes to that.
No, that's true. There's a couple. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't know about Biscanny, um, but dry tortugas I did know about. I really kind of thought it was just dry tortugas and Everglades. Um, the Everglades. I imagine. I don't know. Um, but it's a wetlands. So, like, whenever I think of it, I just think of in my head as a giant swamp. Um,
Yeah.
which I mean, still can be cool. Swamps are cool. Um,
Well, it's like the
in their own
gators and
way.
stuff and the crocodiles, right? Like you get the American alligator, which is like unique to the swamps, these Florida swamps. And I mean, it's different. I get what you mean. Like you're kind of like, God, do I need to go down on a swamp? They're kind of sketch with all the like spiders and reptiles and amphibian critters and fish and stuff. Like I get you. I get you where it's like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, no, 100%. That and then what's also very popular, unfortunately, very popular to do in Florida
oh yeah.
is a lot of people will have these pet pythons and then they go and let them free in the Everglades.
Yeah, they get too
It's like
big and they can't take
releasing,
care of them.
yeah, it's like releasing hippos into Colombia. Like it's
Yeah.
not a good idea, but they'll flourish.
And they have.
Uh,
No, that is an
they
issue.
have their small rodent population in the Everglades has dropped like 80%.
That's wild. Because then I've also seen things where the Florida panther has returned. Like they're starting to see that in places that
Oh yeah, yeah, I
they
have heard
historically
that
used to
too.
see. So that's what I mean. So like I'm curious, not that the rodent population has anything to do with it, but like what's helping that?
The panther just feeding on pythons, that'd be kind of wild.
Well, probably not snakes, but house
I don't know.
cats, all dogs.
I don't think it's made a cool shit in nature. Which I don't know why, but one of the like I know I've watched it, and I'm pretty sure I've probably shared it before, but I have like looked up Jaguar versus Anaconda fight.
Oh,
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good time to watch. I'm not gonna lie, it's some cool
yeah,
shit. So maybe
good.
one of these weeks we'll put it on the cool shit in nature segment.
Yeah, that'll have to come. I mean, I think I actually have seen, like you've shown me, because it is like they, and it might be even in a planet Earth, huh?
No, it's not in planet Earth. I know
No,
that much.
what's the jaguar attack? It's a gator or something that attacks. They fight.
Oh, a capybara.
Oh, that's what it is. Yes, yes, big
Yeah, I
one.
think it might even do a gator though, also, or a crocodile,
In
because
the yeah,
I think it's the one from way up high. It jumps from way up and like down on it.
it's been a minute, so
It has.
I'm just gonna
So
have to
it's,
say
speaking
yes.
of, actually, Planet Earth 3 is going to be coming out.
How excited were you? You know, the treasure that David Attenborough is, he's going to narrate it. So I was just like, damn, like getting another one
I
from
know.
him. So excited. I love how when they made the first Planet Earth, because I remember I was in seventh grade. We watched that goddamn show probably 30 times in our science class. I kid you not, between seventh and eighth grade. It was always like the go-to. You just watch Planet Earth. And
Oh,
nothing wrong with it. But it's like I remember them talking about building that documentary where it's like 40, 50 years of like films, recordings, colorizations. Like it took them so long to make that one. And now they're just busting these other ones out so much quicker because of technology. And you're just like, yes.
yeah. I mean that first Planet Earth series was really kind of like a game changer in the nature documentary series in like scheme of it. It really things really ramped up after that series. Um I've watched that series a ton. I remember this is back when I used to pirate a lot of shit. And
That was one of them.
oh yeah, I had the whole series and I used to just I watched it all the time. I I've watched I've watched it going to bed numerous times. I've watched it doing activities late at night. So I mean, it's like I think I've seen that one probably the most watched thing I've
Ever
had.
watched? You ever watched? Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Either that or Caddyshack, the movie Caddyshack.
Good watches, good watches. I don't know what I've watched the most. I watch a lot of stuff though. I learn a lot. I watched a lot of documentaries, a lot of nature stuff, a lot of just overlap. You know, like before Iceland, I watched some videos. There's not a lot of great videos on Iceland, so I didn't like dive too hard into them. But I
Yeah,
tried, you know what I'm saying? But not like
I
the
do.
Everglades. And
No, no.
I have this book here, and we're going to talk about the Everglades. Just give you a little brief factoid, little understanding if you're not sure what the Everglades are. A transitional landscape. Oh, sorry, Pops. I'll have to talk to you later. A transitional landscape blurring the lines between water and earth. The Everglade wetlands soak up 1.5 million acres of southwestern Florida. Park visitors can experience one of the most unique ecosystems in the country from a canoe gliding along the shallow waters of the Wilderness Waterway, where alligators, manatees, ibises, and egrets, cypresses, and mangroves all thrive in the balmy coastal marsh. Over 350 species of bird live within the watery confines of the park, making the grand bird watching getaway, despite developers' never ending attempts in the stem to slow its tide. The mighty Everglades persistently roll on towards the sea. Life through threatened continues to flourish in the swamplands. Though threatened, I said through threatened, though threatened, because like
Yeah.
it's a fragile ecosystem, and a lot of our national parks are.
Yeah, what's fun fact about the Everglades is it was the first park, it was the first created park to protect an endangered ecosystem. So unlike, some of the other national parks where they were just beautiful areas, beautiful, ecosystems to begin with. It wasn't an endangered ecosystem that they were trying to protect. They were just trying to preserve. Whereas this one was strictly because this was an endangered ecosystem. First one for this reasoning.
Well, they say
Um,
50%. It's basically cut in half of what was original there too, because it used to
you
be
know,
what people. That is a lot when you
it's
think
one
of
of
the
the
actual
largest
size.
wetlands in the world, and the and a lot of it's been
I
is gone now, which is kind of crazy to think how large it really was.
I want to say, I want to zoom in on it. Okay, I haven't opened up the maps on. Okay, cool. It was nice and zoomed out too for me. But I'm gonna zoom in. I want to say close to Everglades National Park is, yeah, the most, it's north there. You have Miami, right? So Everglades is close to both Biscayne and then the Big Cypress National Preserve, which I actually remember flying over the Big Cypress over the when I flew out of Miami that time. But it you're right there by the Muskogee Reservation, and then you have the Big Cypress Reservation too, which is closer to Cypress, not as close to Everglades. But I'm sure a lot of that homeland, a lot of that is natural homeland for those tribes and those nations. You know, you talk about the Seminole Nation just a little more north of there, and how they have their like they like they never signed a treaty with the U.S. government, so they're kind of unique in that sense. So there's a little more like resiliency when it comes to the natives in Florida. So when it comes to like these parks and stuff, I'm really curious because I haven't been there, and I like to hear and see those stories.
Hmm, that would be I mean, I don't know. For my understanding, it's I don't know, it's probably yeah, part of that land, but wetlands and it being so swampy and technically one river, it's hard to live on the land itself, whereas living close to it is different. But like on those wetlands itself, it's just
Yeah,
tough because it's not the best soil for like living. It's good area for life, but not like
that life. No,
creating a village or a settlement.
right, but I think you look at like the coastal area, which would be right, and like the where the
Yeah.
tribes how they survive down there. That would probably be a hunting area or an area at certain times of the year. It would come and gather food or gather uh, because of its location to the sea and kind of down where it's at. And I believe, yeah, well, that's also where like not Columbus, but whatever, what's his name, was looking for that fountain of youth down there in Florida.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So you're going around places like that, the swamps. I've been down to the Louisiana swamps, and those are really cool. And I guess I could get that vibe, when you look at the land for what the land is and how it probably moves and changes, and especially before human contact, before dams, before just most changes in how the natural earth and whatnot moves. I think you look at like Iceland, where we're driving on those roads where you see those great plains, like on that south side, where it was just like, holy shit, like you could just tell where like this river at certain times of the year is just flowing, and other times it's not on that highway. You know what I'm talking about? On that, like when we were driving from Diamond Beach to that next campground where it was just kind of vast
Yeah, yeah.
and just that open plain, and how like in the winter that's just fucking frozen ice and snow. And I think you look at like these plains, like these floodplains, you got to look at them similarly like that, where back in the day, that these swamps, like they would drain in the winter and do whatever, and then you'd come out in like the spring, and like they would be there in their canoes, because I mean these tribes had traditional canoes and stuff down in these
Oh, for
areas.
sure.
So
Oh, I mean, it's
I
probably great for great land, for fish.
oh yeah,
Um,
trapping,
it's
probably like trapping birds and
yeah, I bet trapping's actually really popular because it's so dense.
mhm.
with foliage and other like biomass that, it's probably one, you could set traps, or two, maybe you can spear or bow or whatever, you know, hunt like
Well,
various different critters.
you get those fan boats nowadays. People with those fan boats down there.
Yeah. Yeah, they
So
go wild with that down there.
yeah, and then you have like then you really have the swamp living people where they built the huts up in the trees,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
off grid motherfuckers
Uh
down there.
yeah, fun fact, Everglades is the third largest national park in the lower 48 behind Death Valley and Yellowstone.
Well, it's weird. Like that's what I mean. Florida's weird, like because it's a lot of like jungle or rainforest in that kind of sense, you know.
Yeah.
But you have like these large cities like on the coasts. Like the coasts are very not tropical. You know what I mean? Like I think it probably was it felt more tropical and looked more tropical back before like European contact. But then like nowadays like you get like yeah you have like these swamps and stuff, but even then like people are living like houses in these swamps, you know, like they've torn them down and they've diverted the water to become like ponds and reservoirs and various things like that so that they can build houses up on like land where they've buried more sand and sediment. You know what I mean? Like we don't realize
Hmm.
how much we've manipulated the land, especially on the East Coast in that sense of like where we've been able to like build those aqueducts and reservoirs.
Yeah.
And
Manipulated the land all over the world. How
well,
we've
yeah, I mean,
manipulated.
you're not wrong. I mean, yeah, when you say the world, I'm just focusing in on like where you look at like how I mean, yeah, like fuck, even like the Fort Peck Dam here in Montana, it's one of the largest dams on to dam up a river like ever constructed. You know what I mean? The Hoover Dam,
Yeah.
like these large things that ever be accomplished, like we don't realize what the impacts they do on these floodplains. Like, why has the Southwest been in such a desert or a drought, or why is it going in these extremes? You know, is like, oh, is that because maybe it's not getting certain water from the Colorado River like it should be?
Is it that? Is it global warming? Is it a combination of both? Is it something else? Is it a multifactorial issue? It's a great question. I think we probably know the answer. We just are in denial about it. Um, but
Well, we're
what's
not helping
not,
it either.
no, 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 no. What's not in denial is Everglades National Park is one of the relatively few places on Earth where you may see both alligators and saltwater crocodiles, sometimes in the same body of water. Crocodiles are seen much less than alligators, but one of the best places to see them is usually in Flamingo Marina.
Well, that's a
So
good tip. That's a really good tip right there.
that is, and it's a fun fact. Uh,
Well,
I've
here's
heard
one.
saltwater crocodiles are wild.
I They're cool. I mean, they're big. They get big too. But
Well, yeah, I heard they're like crazy dangerous too.
I mean,
That's that's what I meant by wild.
I feel I don't go down that rabbit hole. I'm good. I'm good. I'm not. Like you get those guys. Which honestly, we should have done it when you were at South Dakota. So one of these times, because when you got to come visit me in Wolf Point, but we'll make a trip out of it. So we'll go down to like Teddy Roosevelt National Park and Badlands National Park. So you know what I mean. We'll do a little loop de scoop. You'll fly into Billings, then you'll fly into Wolf Point. We'll drive.
I don't. I think I could go without Wolf Point, but
We'll meet you somewhere
uh,
in the middle.
yeah. But was it? No, the reason why I've heard that they're crazy is I was listening to this interview with Kelly Slater, which for if anyone doesn't know who Kelly Slater is, he's probably the greatest surfer to ever walk
Right.
this earth. Um, and he was talking about being in Australia where there's a bunch of saltwater, and they're like in a boat or maybe a canoe or something, and the guides were like really, really strict on like do not go in the water, like all this, because it's like you go in the water and then boom, you're done. Because these saltwater crocodiles are just they're gonna see you and you're just toast.
Fuck. I mean, I think I've seen some videos, but I just I don't fuck with them. Like I said, like we'll go to the reptile garden there in the Black Hills, and they do that show where the guy freaking jumps on, tangles, wrangles a crocodile, and I'm sure you get that down here in the Everglades too. And I just that guy's always missing fingers, missing toes, shit like that. Like
Yeah.
I'm good.
One of these
I'm
days, he's not going to be that quick. He
no,
didn't get
no.
his 8 hours of sleep. He's going to go into it. And he's like, maybe he didn't have his coffee, or, maybe he had one too many shots of whiskey before the start of the show. And he just moves a little too slow, and it's bye bye arms.
But like, and I think I've told you that story when me and Colton were fishing, and I caught that pike, that the biggest pike I've ever caught. I mean, it's not that big, but for Sealy, it was big. And just the way he sat in that net, man, like he's not fighting. He's not sitting there flopping like a smaller fish would be doing. You know what I mean? He's sitting there saving his energy, freaking learning, waiting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Waiting for that opportunity. It's like those crocodiles have those moments. Those alligators have those moments. Like I'm waiting. Like I don't like you, and I'm gonna turn on you.
Yeah. You just don't fuck with animals.
No, no. But Reptile Gardens, we'll check it out.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
You're more of a
um,
bear country guy. That's the other one. They have all the bears.
Yeah, yeah, all the bear. Yeah, I am probably more of a bear country kind of guy, but
We'll have to do a more Black Hills dive in. We'll have to do a live stream tour.
oh
Here we
yeah,
are
I
in
mean,
the
who
Black
knows?
Hills. Bring Matt, buddy.
We'll bring him as tribute. All
Yeah,
right, I'll just cut there.
cool. No, I think we should be good with like even the front stuff too. With a good like,
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm counting that.
I think
So
that's I kind of like that casual rolling.
I kind of I like it too, because it's like it's the same banter kind of, but I think it's a bit more organic, and then it's just like and then it turns into this like, oh yeah, let's talk about the thing that we need to. Let's clink type deal.
Exactly, exactly. Where it's like it's not as like structured, but it's structured and
Yeah.
like in that sense of like we're just fucking chatting, and like that's those conversations where you're like, what?
In need of LED lights for your vehicle? Look no further than our friends at Oxteo, keeping our vehicles well lit while on the road while looking for Bigfoot. Make sure to use code RUGARU, RUGARU, on your next set of LED lights. The Wild West is full of dangers, from snakes to bears. The outdoorsman must be prepared. That is why when you experience rivers like the San Juan or the Yellowstone, you must bring a blue ribbon net. Handcrafted and biodegradable, these classic wooden fishing nets are all you need while on the river. Make sure to use code RUGARU10 when checking out at Blue Ribbon Nets. Again, the code is RUGARU10. RUGARU10.
All
No.
right,
Um, let's
let's
move
roll.
on to my favorite segment. I was actually looking up some more for the future, in our little break here. Uh, but one of them I just found, and I was thinking of you because I think you would probably get a kick out of this. Because in reality, I assume you've probably seen something like this before. Um,
I've seen a few
this
things in
one's
my day.
I know. Well, this one takes place in Yellowstone. That's
Oh,
why.
nice,
Um,
nice.
yeah,
You
and it's deer and rut.
you are going to like the cool shit nature that me and Jared chose.
My favorite part. It's okay. So for the people that are just listening, what we're watching is this bull elk, bugling. I'm assuming I don't have the noise on, and just running through Mammoth in
Yeah.
Yellowstone.
Well, and you can
And
see when you go to the video there, look at the very end.
Oh
in
yeah,
the
you see
building.
people are in panic just heading into buildings because they know that this thing's gonna fuck you up.
Well, no, not. I think is the yellow vest. I think one of them's a park ranger, probably yelling at people too.
Oh, I didn't see the yellow
At
vest.
the very end when they go into that door. But yeah, right here at that door. See right there.
Oh yeah, sure enough, there's the yellow vest.
Shuts the door.
Yeah,
Get
but they're just
inside.
all fucking
Get inside. Oh. But
yeah.
no, for the cool shit me and Jared did, we did a elk ram in a car. That one car in Jasper National Park.
Oh really?
Oh,
There you go.
oh, into the truck. I've
Uh,
seen this before.
I know. I was trying to remember if I'd actually shown this one before or not.
No, it's been on like Alaska PD or some shit is where I saw this.
Oh, probably. But for the people that are just paying attention or just listening to this as well, it's some animal control state troopers. They're pulling uh an animal out of a bumper of a car, and it turns out to be a bobcat.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that I wonder if they hit it. You know what I mean? Like if he hit it and it got stuck in the grill or that
Yeah.
like bumper grill kind of weird thing. It's a small car.
No, and it's like in the car.
Maybe it like got stuck.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like they have to pull it from deep,
Yeah, he's
and
pulling
then
it.
it goes crazy, and they put it in the bed of a pickup, and lock it away. So they're
Not
probably gonna go release it. That thing, that bobcat's got to be going wild in the back of that pickup the whole time, though.
oh, probably. Then it sits there calm when they open up the back and it's just sitting in the fucking way back, just ready to pounce.
Oh yeah, that thing's gonna like when you open up the back of that pickup to let that thing go in the wild. You do not get in between that cat in the open field because that
No,
thing is going to fuck some shit up.
that's nuts, dude. That's wild. That's some cool shit.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be some cool shit. So
Do you you want
that's
you want you want to know some more cool shit?
yeah, always.
So Everglades National Park. Though this park is more accessible by canoe than foot, park services have built a few excellent trailways from which to experience the incredible Everglade ecosystem without getting wet. An easy, highly rewarding nature walk along the Anhinga Trail provides a close up opportunity and safe opportunity to meet an alligator, while birds of many shapes and sizes can be watched at the eco pond. Take the 15-mile tram road to a 45-foot tall observation tower that overlooks the glistening wetlands. You will also be standing at the highest point in the park, as the Everglades elevation never exceeds more than 8 feet above sea level. Be sure to plan your visit for the winter time, as heavy rain, hurricanes, and swarms of mosquitoes make a summer trip to the Everglades much less enjoyable.
Oh, the mosquitoes got to be just horrible.
Right? I'm
This is
curious
definitely
though.
in winter.
Right, right. Well, it's Florida, right? It's always like 90 there.
Yeah.
I'm curious because like I've heard the stories of like the mosquitoes in Alaska because like like I always go to the picture. My dad was always like, the mosquitoes here in Montana are like, "Zzz," and then they'll land on you. In Alaska, they're just like right to you.
Yeah, yeah, the mosquitoes up in Alaska fucking sucked. They
Yeah,
absolutely. It'd be like it'd be like 80 degrees out and I'm wearing like full on sweats because I'm like covers everything so I'm not gonna get bit by a goddamn mosquito.
right. You're just like fuck that. That's
It
why I
was
wear these
miserable.
fishing, man.
Yeah. Which I assume the Everglades have got to be pretty bad. Um,
Oh
Although
fuck
I
yeah.
bet those mosquitoes are worse. They probably carry the Zika virus.
And whatever other freaking venereal diseases they can pick up from nearby Miami.
Yeah. Right. How'd you get the clap? Oh, mosquito. Although that's a horrible example because that's bacterial, not viral. So
COVID, COVID,
yeah. Yeah, yeah, right.
COVID
But
skeeters.
yeah, right. Going. going back to some fun facts, and I think this is important. It makes the trip much more, much more of a reason to go. Another of the fascinating Everglades National Park's facts is that if you scoop a glass full of water from the heart of the Everglades, that water is as pure and clear as water from which flows from your tap. 1 in 3 Floridians, more than 8 million, get their drinking water from the Biscayne Aquifer a few feet below the southeastern Everglades.
That
So
shit
that
blows my
water
mind.
has got to be pretty good. It means we just got to go and see if it can overtake the true king of Bryce Canyon in best water.
And so take that into consideration, and then also talk about like the fact that like Livingston is known for having some of the cleanest water on Earth because of like its proximity to Yellowstone. And I'm sure you go up to Olympic and the Solduck rainforest there, they're like, the Solduck River is one of the purest rivers in the Northwest, right? When you look at some of these places and some of these bodies of water, and then you look at where we've put some of these national parks, right, to preserve these natural aquifers and stuff, and you makes you question if that was part of the decision.
That's a good point to bring up if it was considered. Um, you know, maybe, maybe. I mean, I would like to think, which I know the answer is no way in hell, that we would want to preserve all of our water as much as we can. Uh,
Well, like Mount Hood's national forest.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's probably. I mean, water definitely does take a have a effect on like why people preserve. But as for like if
Crater
it's the
Lake
aquifers,
National Park, Crater Lake.
that's great water. That's great water. But that's like that. Crater Lake's not a great example. Um, but I mean, water's so important, so it makes sense why they would try and protect it
Right,
when it
that's what
comes
I'm saying.
down to.
Yeah, some of these
So,
pure places, these best places, these native places that were stolen.
yeah, everything is stolen, man.
You're not wrong. You're not
Fun
wrong.
fact, more fun facts. This one answers a question that I think we had in the first part of the show, actually.
Ooh,
The Florida Everglades is home to the Gladesmen.
what?
Florida is home to the Gladesmans were people who lived in the Everglades and built small homes and boats called glade skiffs to navigate the narrow canals and waterways in the area. Um, the glade skiffs are narrow and long, typically measuring around 2 feet wide and 16 to 18 feet long. Gladesmen would stand at the back of the boat using a large pole to move through the shallow waters to hunt for game such as alligators, deer, turkey, rabbits, pigs, fish, frogs, turtles, and other wildlife, which they would then sell upon their return. Um, I don't think these are native people, if I'm being honest. I think these are
No,
people that
like
moved
live
into
there.
the area.
Yeah, no, I think I'm getting that vibe.
Yeah.
The Gladesmen, like they're actual, like kind of those like the people that we're talking about that live like they're kind of off the grid kind of motherfuckers.
Yeah, I think another term would be swamp people.
Swamp people, yeah, fair.
So,
Um, I thought because this conversation, this question's always been a Wandering Ways ask. Um, they do have black bear.
oh.
They do have black bear. They also have Florida panther, bobcat, domestic cats, domestic dogs, red fox, gray fox, raccoons, spotted skunk, striped skunk, long-tailed weasel, Everglade mink, as well as river otter. So, Jared, if you're listening in, which I know you're not, the river otter is in the Everglades. Oh, they even got bottlenose dolphins, rice whales, and short-finned pilot whales that you could possibly see, as well as domestic pigs and white-tailed deer.
The domestic part in front of the dogs, cats, and pigs is an awful funny one. to distinct here. Uh, it gives me very reservation vibes with the res dogs. Uh, so maybe there are natives close by. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe it's the Gladesmen. Maybe the Gladesmen are the one with the like random domesticated critters.
or are they like the cats that like people have abandoned? You know what I mean? Or are they, or is it more
Yeah,
like the chickens in Hawaii?
right. Yeah, these are all pretty good theories. I'm
If
gonna
you're
go with the abandoned animals because people are abandoning their pythons. I could see them definitely abandoning a cat or a dog or a pig and pretty much going, good luck.
right, fair. I mean, I could these places because they're so remote too. That like that's also the thing that you got to take into consideration when people do that with that. Um, Another cool thing this park has to offer that I thought I'd share with you that you would enjoy is they have a trolley in this park, so you could take a trolley between locations, between visitor
Really?
centers. Yeah.
A nice little trolley ride, huh?
Yeah, public transportation to and from Ernest F. Coe Visitor Center and Royal Palm is seasonally available through the City of Homestead trolley service. From approximately December through April, stop markers are found outside of the Ernest F. Coe Visitor Center and the Royal Palm Shelter when the trolley is in service. This is the only public transportation offered to anywhere inside the park.
It's interesting that it's December to April that it's
It's
available.
probably the high visitorship because it said hot, man. It gets hot in the summer, muggy, mosquitoes. Don't
Yeah.
want to go there. That's
Yeah.
what they say.
That's what they say, but it just still doesn't mean people aren't going. Um,
Um, Also some cool shit you can do there is they have the guided tours. You can do the Shark Valley tram tour, which is like a tram that's the kind of cool that you can go on. The Everglades Institute has national park ranger led programs. You can kayak and do boat tours through the Everglades Long Pie Key Flamingo. And there's Gulf Coast Adventures, all sorts of things. I don't know. I've been diving more and more into these national park pages, when we do these ABCs, and there's some cool shit, man.
yeah, people should use the website for sure because there's a lot of stuff that you can gain informationally about the parks, especially if you're going to go plan your trip um, to it. Uh, this is another random fun fact, but it's more on the fun fact side of things. One of the fun Everglade National Park facts has to do with a beloved bear who became a television star in the 1960s. This goes back to your
Ooh.
black bear. Gentle Ben is a character who was first created in a 1965 novel. This bear, however, was simply too cute and cuddly to remain on the printed page. CBS brought Ben to the little screen in 1967 with the television series Gentle Ben. The show starred several black bears, depending on behaviors required for the particular scene. However, Bruno, I guess, had the better agent and had more screen time. Regarding the shooting locations, there were quite a few. One of the most beautiful locations happened in Everglades National Park. So there's famous bears, although I think
Cool.
they probably shipped in the bear to the Everglades rather than picking an Everglades bear.
Gentle Ben, though. I
I
bet you
mean,
he doesn't like pollution.
he's probably close to Woodsy the owl.
Um, so part of this park has 39 native Florida species. So there's 39 native Florida species to this park that are federally listed as threatened or endangered.
Oh wow.
Some of the unique listings are the Florida panther, the American crocodile, the West Indian manatee, which they have the manatees. I'm curious why they're the West Indian ones. Are they different? I gotta do some research. The wood stork and the snail kite. That's all it says.
Interesting.
Yeah. They got a lot of
Interesting.
They got 300 species of fish, countless insects, 17 species of amphibians, and more than 360 species of birds. 40 mammals and 50 kind of distinct reptiles can be found in this park. And
Yeah.
approximately 120 to 230 Florida panthers.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything we've learned about doing and these ABCs is a lot of these parks have a lot of endangered species. They're trying to protect something, So I mean, I'm not surprised that Everglades is no different in that standpoint. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure the biodiversity in the Everglades is pretty legit because I
Oh,
mean
God.
it's wetlands, it's got a lot of opportunity for life with sunlight and water. So
I think if we were to plan a trip there, I'd want to give it the time to plan and actually say, like, we're going to book this tour, or we're going to book a boat or a canoe or a kayak to actually get into the Everglades, and kind of what you're saying. So that way you can kind of experience the Everglades, where I'm sure, yeah, like these trails and stuff, you'll see some birds, you'll see some things like that. But I feel like to really get inside, you gotta, oh, let's take the fan boat, spend extra $50, $60 if you can.
yeah, I definitely think this would be a pretty sweet one to like um really kind of get into
Backcountry.
the park. Probably because and I'm trying to look it up real quick, but I imagine there's not a lot of like true hiking. Um, just because it's hard to have actual trails. There's probably boardwalks where you can walk out on, but I imagine that there's nothing going to be like these long, fit 6, maybe not, but I'm imagining like a 6 miler is not very common, 6 mile one way in this park. So, you know,
Right. I get what you're saying. I mean, I think, yeah, you hear that it's going to be more canoe kayak type travel, and then like
yeah.
that kind of worries me with the crocodile alligator aspect, especially you're going to go into the back country. So maybe like like a fan boat or a bigger boat of some sort that can it has a motor, maybe not necessarily something that me rowing.
Yeah, you don't trust you can row that fast, eh?
I feel like, yeah, you get away from a crocodile versus like
Hey, I
hitting
have
it on the
seen
head.
you in a hailstorm. I believe that you can go that fast.
I mean, I did take off to the shore. Don't get me wrong. I dug in, but that hailstorm, that was the trip.
No, that was Everglades would be cool. I mean, this was on my list, partially because it was one of the only ones I know of down there,
On the
park
East
wise.
Coast in general.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why it hit my list mainly. But Everglades, I think it is worth it, even if they do have a fuck ton of snakes. Um,
Right. I'm good.
yeah,
Or spiders and that. Like, the swamp. I mean, but like again, I was down in Louisiana for New Orleans, and that they have swamps there, and now it's not that bad.
no, I mean, in my head, I'm definitely over dramatizing it, the of it. So, I gotta go down there to get have a reality check.
Right. Well, and that's the other thing too, is like we say that, and there's people out there who are like the Northwest. I can't with the whole rainforest. Like that looks sketch, like the
Yeah.
rainforest, the fog, and all that. And here you are, and then here I am, like, oh yeah, I'll just flip flops in the Montana backcountry. We're fine.
Yeah, right. So no, 100% there. But anyways, moving on, we're getting to that time, running out. It is time for the final words, but before we do that, the Everglades National Park, another ABC's in the book. It was a short stop in the E's. We'll be moving on to another wonderful one. Stay tuned. I like to build a little suspense, even though anyone and everyone can look up alphabetical order of the national parks and see which one we're talking about next. But with that being said, final words, my guy.
Final words. Final words. First, we got to always do the Amber Share book. The Miles and Miles of Nothing was one, but good thing for this park. There's also two. Number two was just a bunch of gators, which low key, if it was just a bunch of gators, I would enjoy that. Well, maybe not. We'll see. We would see.
Right.
To be determined. But depends on how that experience goes. And I think that would be fun. I really do think going down and seeing the Everglades is a big blast. And I want to give it the time it needs to plan it out, maybe spend a couple days, get into that back country. Maybe there's a cool Airbnb or a cool campground or cool back country like cabin or something that you could get in if you take like a fan boat or something in there. I got to do more research. But that's part of the trip. You got to do the research, you got to do the planning, you got to figure it out. So when there's these kind of parks that come up that we don't have the experience of, you got to take that first step. You got to dive in, you got to get the feet wet, you got to explore the park, you got to say, ooh, this is what I want to do. Ooh, here's what we learned today on the Wandering Ways podcast. And then we take that next step, we do that research, we dive into the stays, the trips, the things that you can do during the trip. So stay tuned for step 2 when we decide to go to the Everglades, whenever that may be. Until next time.
Yeah, totally. Reverend's final words of wisdom. Stay beautiful, everybody. Can't tell you how thankful I am for each and every one of you for listening all the way through to the end or in all the other episodes. It's a true pleasure, and I'm thankful for that. For it. Yeah, that's Everglades. Another national park in the book, another national park that I'd like to get to in sometime in the future when I've got that time to. But just ELE, everybody love everyone. Go out there, do something nice, be thankful for someone, be thankful for something. But with that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.